Okay, now how does that match up to the dynamics? I'm going to show you something that's really important, and then I'll let the other speaker speak. Where's he at? You guys all get this?
Yeah.
If you fall out of admiration, happiness, don't feel so emotional. You're falling out of love. But I'm going to show you something here. How to get back into love. Where's it at? I got to write a letter to him. This guy was telling him that I'm glad he put all these graphs in here. The other one didn't have it. All right. I'm sure you saw this before, but new aspect of it. Connected to the second dynamic here. These are kind of circles, right? That Hubbard had on all these dynamics. So these are like plus, these are minus. And a person you see out here pushing a cart, a homeless person, unfortunately, has given up even his first dynamic. He's probably given up the second dynamic too, because he's alone. He doesn't have a partner pushing the cart with him.
Oh, I see that.
You did? You see the partner? Yeah, they still got a second dynamic. Still got a second dynamic. It's cool. Wow. Yeah. How do you get up? Everybody knows, you have first dynamic, you have your clothes, you have your car, right? Those are your glasses, they're not mine. It's all part of your first dynamic. How do you become a second dynamic? See, how do you become a second dynamic?
By including another person.
Yeah, not including, but it's sort of expanding.
Expanding yourself.
Expanding. It doesn't mean you're discluding your glasses or your first dynamic, your nice car, whatever you got, but it's including and expanding out to this other person. Taking full responsibility for this other person. The other person taking full responsibility for you. Okay. And you expand, that's meaning you get big. Well, compare somebody who's, well, they're really into their second dynamic, kids and everything, with somebody who's working on the ninth dynamic out here. How big is this guy? Pretty big. You can confront a lot. He can have all these dynamics. He is being these dynamics. So how do you be somebody's how do you be someone's dynamic? I mean, how do you do this? There's this word Hubbard calls affinity. Who knows the definition for affinity? Occupying the same space, isn't it?
Yeah. Willingness.
Willing to occupy the same space. So here, the guy moved up and he's willing to occupy the same space. I don't care if she's all the way over there. We're occupying the same space. We occupy the same space so much that sometimes we share dreams. You believe that? Each other's dreams.
That's cool.
How close can you get? Sharing each other's minds. What if a group was like that? A very powerful group. Have that much affinity for each other. Take responsibility for each other. I belonged to this one group one time. It was called the Complete Your Case Unit. And Los Angeles, we were the first group in that building before they even painted it blue. All right. Everybody there was class 6 and above, OT4 and above. It was easy to get in there. See, we were all helped each other, and we were all like co-auditing, and if somebody needed something, they were right there. Oh man, it was like being in heaven. It was wonderful. Yeah. The only problem we had was this Sea Org member that was in charge of us, that was at the bottom of the bridge. And she would like get so HGNR, human motion and reaction, just about everything. And we would like be so casual, you know. Well, when I'm done with my cramming, I'll do the session. Oh, the PC's waiting, you know, and you'd be all upset. But anyway, it's possible. And I experienced it with the group. We have so much ARC, so much compassion, caring, admiration, happiness. We were happy to be there. Imagine it happened to be on staff. Right?
By the way, there were some studies done at Stanford with ESP abilities where they were guessing, you know, shapes and stuff. And
Yeah.
they staticized this when they found that couples that came in and did it were 6 times more accurate than an individual.
Yeah. Did you ever hear that?
6 times more powerful.
They're doing tests. What university was it?
Stanford.
Stanford, where couples were more successful with the ESP than non-couples.
6 times.
6 times.
So 2 people.
Of course.
6 times.
Obvious. I mean, once you've seen a triangle I put up here, it's like, yeah. Maybe a shock to these Stanford people, but a Scientologist knew that long time. He was like, yeah. But what if a group was like that?
That'd be great.
Right? We had ESP, we had, you
That
know.
would be logarithmic 6 to the 6th power for every.
Yeah, it increases.
Yeah.
The power increases. And then you keep moving up these dynamics, and here you are operating on the 7th and 8th dynamic. What we're trying to do over at the Renal Center is get people up through the knots, up through OT8, and start doing these theta clearing and these higher levels so we can operate it. The more people we get up, the more powerful this becomes. Yeah. Okay. I think that's about, just one more thing. Oh. He even matches the tone scale to these levels here, which I thought was interesting. Of course, the minus is the lower tone, right? If you're real angry, screaming at your spouse or whatever, or your partner, you just got into the minus destructive band. This is created destructive. Why would you want to destroy your second dynamic? If you have a disagreement or an upset, I mean, if you have if somebody broke a glass or broke your favorite glass or put a dent in your car, the solution is to scream at your second dynamic. Bring that person down tone. No.
Don't break more glasses.
Yeah. Just get another glass. It's just messed, you know. Fix the dent. See what I mean? Unconditional love, right? Okay. He has, of course, this is tone 40. This is around the 7th dynamic. He has a 32. This is all the 2D book. Around the 5th or 4th dynamic, he has 22. See how high tone you got to get to be these higher dynamics. The more higher tone you are, the more you can be these dynamics. 15 is around, it's a little above dynamic 2, so you got to get up to tone 10, or where is tone 10 on the tone scale? Anybody know? Or 15? Action is 22, right?
Enthusiasm?
See, to operate on third dynamic level, you got to get toward action. Do something.
Is physics is
Right.
somewhere there? Yeah, and acceleration
Let me
and
find it for you.
8.
I'll put the rest up here. Above the dynamic
I know there's
1 is
acceleration.
4.0. 2.0, 1.5, 0.5, 0. 0 is not to be. If you want a successful marriage or relationship, you got to be high tone. I mean, that's why. That's what I'm pointing out here. Can you have a successful marriage if you're bitchy and upset all the time?
Acceleration.
Say no. You can't. Pretty soon, someone's going to be unhappy and they're going to divorce you.
Yes.
What is it?
Acceleration is 8. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, 8. Right in there.
Is exhilaration.
So you got to be above exhilaration to have a second dynamic? Successful second dynamic.
We usually are exhilarated when you fall in love.
That's
Yeah, that's true.
it. Yeah. So how do you keep that? See?
Yeah.
How do you keep that exhilaration? You got to keep creating it. It doesn't come from off an apple tree or something. You see, it doesn't come from the sky or the universe or some. It comes from you, right?
Yeah.
You see somebody and you're happy with them and you feel exhilarated and you want to hug them or hug her and you want to create. See? Yeah, exhilaration, strong emotion, happiness, admiration. How do you keep it? Keep it by creating it. You don't just drop the ball. You wake up in the morning, smile at each other, give each other a hug. Right, that's the first thing we do. Give each other a hug. Somebody wants to say something. You got a question?
No, I just wanted to add a little comment that Hubbard had this whole thing about creating it newly, each moment newly in a million at a time.
Right.
You're not depending on some solid agreement, it's a constant, continuous creation.
Yeah, and don't depend on the other person to create it. Because if you keep depending on the other person, or that person is depending on you to create it, I call it like vampire theism, where they're just sucking you of your energy and time, and they're down tone, and you try to get them up tone all the time, and you're trying to create the 2D all the time. It's exhausting. How many people done that? Yeah, I've done it. I've done it, and it's like it's just draining you. You're never going to have that energy you need to reach your goals.
Especially when they're in tone angry, you just feel like it's boredom all the time. You're like,
Well,
Yeah.
well, my own my family seemed to improve dramatically when we cut out the blame, which is very, very low. My belief was that if you cut out the real low tones, the marriage and the family is going to be all right.
Well, if you yourself are up tone, above or close to 4, or just up tone, you're not going to be in the mindset of blame. See, and if you get everybody out, if you get your 2D and you're always up tone, okay, why aren't you up tone? Well, you got to get your case handled then. If you can't stay up tone, you got to get your case handled.
Or there's
Something's dragging you down.
a loss of the family.
If somebody passes, why is that a loss?
It's a case.
Why is that a loss? Death is a wonderful, glorious experience. I've died many times.
I mean, like go bankrupt and blaming everybody.
There's no loss. They passed. They moved on to the next game. Good. Well, that's why you have like a wake and you say goodbye. You let them go, otherwise they'll haunt you. You let them go. It's not a loss. It's a gain. They gained it. They gained the experience of this life. Now they're moving on. See, it's all a matter of viewpoint and attitude. You go, oh, it's a loss. One of the first things they told us when when he told us that LRH passed away, LRH's message was from Pat Broker was, don't grieve. This is like he's passing on to a higher level. He didn't want anybody grieving when he died. So that was LRH's message from Pat Broker. I don't know if you were there or not. Yeah. So, we were like, no, okay, we're not going to grieve. He didn't want us to grieve. We're not going to.
And it seems like another good tone for marriage is the aesthetics at 6, where you appreciate your spouse's nice dress.
That's admiration. That's true. Admiration. All right. I'm done. So, does anybody here find it hard to get up the tone for? Come on. Yeah. What we're talking about, you got to get your training case handled. And that's going to save your marriage, and that's going to save your life.
This plays into something about my subject when I speak, but it's very relevant here, is that if you look in the tech dictionary, the definition of ARC, it does state that affinity is a type of energy, and it can be generated at will. So, if a person decides that, well, I can't handle this without getting my case handled, or I have to do this, or apply any form of mechanics, or need to have or be or do first, then that will be true for them. But to occupy the same space is a decision. And a person, if you simply understand that it becomes real to you, then you can simply generate affinity at will. And like you already stated, it is a matter of creating in present time. But it's as simple as that.
It's simple if you can do it.
If you up to that level.
But a lot of people can't do it because they have counterintention in their own universe not to do it. They have a program, they're sitting on an engram or they're whatever. Say they have a case, and we can't not is that. And it might be simple for you or me to say, yeah, all I got to do is have affinity for this person. But, that's a pretty high ability. And to assume there are, right now we're all going to decide to be static, OT, Humpty-Dump. Yeah, right. There's a whole people in Europe doing this. They're doing this. They're walking around and they say, okay, we're all going to decide to be static beings, and we don't have to do any of the processes of LRH or nothing. There's a whole group of this, right? And every day they have to sit there and concentrate and decide they're going to be a Vedic and static being and not have the case. I call that not easy. Because I went and visited them, talked to them, and they got a case. All right. Denial, yeah.
Why wouldn't you just say it's applying ARC rather than taking each partner taking full responsibility and then each partner applying ARC, and you have happiness.
Yeah. Right.
I don't think I have to get to 4.0. I have to get to 15 before we're going to have a happy 2D. I don't think that's...
Well, happiness,
Yeah.
laughing, cheerfulness, that's a high tone.
Yeah.
Right? And when I say you have to handle your case, is because if you can't be happy with high tone and admire and like if you can't feel the same way you felt when you first met the person, you have subconscious influences. Or your partner does. Okay.
Well, it's a good point. Anything above 2.0, you're actually winning on the dynamic, but you're not completely being the dynamic, being responsible for the dynamic until you hit that higher tone.
Okay.
Right.
So it's all a gradient. It's like it says knowing, winning, trusting, being free. That's the whole line.
Yeah. See, what you're doing is fighting over an existing program. You got an existing. If somebody has, how many people have been divorced here? Come on. Half the people, 3/4. Okay. So you got an existing program that is contrary to having a successful duty. Otherwise, you would have been divorced. Okay. So there's subconscious or consciously an existing program there, and this was auditing, dynamic psychology. Tech, you can handle that, right? If you don't have an existing program, yeah, you can do what this gentleman here said. I just decide to have an affinity for this person today, and that's what I'm going to do. But if you have to get up every morning and say, all right, I'm going to create this 2D effort, and I'll drive myself uptown, and I'm not going to let my case get in the way. they're trying to program over an existing program. See, it should be effortless. You shouldn't have to like even think about it, that I'm going to create enough doneness toward this person. It should be automatic. It should be in existence. Because that's what he's talking about here, is an existence. The 2D earth is an existence. It's like we exist here right now in this room. See, well, a lot of people can't stay in that existence of high love for a person. They get dragged down, or they get whatever, unhappy. It feels real easy. Everybody would have a great marriage. It wouldn't be all the divorces. All right. Any questions since I badgered you a little bit?
I'm just curious, what's your ninth dynamic up there?
What tone level is that?
No, what is the ninth dynamic?
What is the ninth dynamic?
Truth.
Aesthetics.
Aesthetics, do you know what the tenth dynamic is?
Yeah, it's ethics.
Oh, good, yes.
It's in a tech dictionary.
I just didn't know I didn't put up 10.
You ran out of
Exactly. Just wanted to check. Thank you.
What's the 11th dynamic?
Admin.
No, tech.
Oh, tech.
Yeah, tech comes before admin. Ethics, tech, admin. It's in the green and white stuff. Ethics, tech, admin. That's the sequence. You can't get the tech in unless you got ethics. Admin is to get the tech in. All right, did that answer it? Very good. Anything else? We're bringing next speaker. Second dynamic. Hopefully that helped, or did that make you feel hopeless?
I have number 3 still to look forward to.
What?
Thank you. I have number 3 to still look forward to.
Number 3. Oh, the third marriage. I didn't want to experience the third marriage. So I really went into really researching this stuff, and that's how I found my second marriage here, my wife. We've been married for, what, 27 years.
Wow,
27
congratulations.
years married. Why? Because we use this stuff.
41.
And we audit each other. What?
41.
41? She beat me. Let's give her a hand. All right, let's bring up the next...
maybe one word about the program that you give,
What?
like the program itself. Do you deliver it over Skype? Like how is it?
No, I don't deliver to Skype. I don't do Skype. I do one-on-one. I do traditional. I'm the old school. Do traditional auditing, one-on-one computer. There will be something talking about Skype.
And how long does the program take? Like if somebody wants to do it?
We do a program on 2D. It should take you 12 and a half hours, where you get educated, you get drilled, and we show you how to find the correct 2D, and you get processing to it. 12, 15. Nice. I'm the only person I know, probably gentleman here probably developed a 2D rundown too, but I'm the only person I know that has a 2D rundown that's actually doing it and successfully in the field. But you should get one going, right? People need a 2D rundown, all right? Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Very good. Thank you. Speaker.